Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are here with the Mornis Project man himself. Who? It's still Sabastian talking all about Nobelia.org. That's the website. And again, Mornis. Let me have the man of the hour introduce himself since we got a late start. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get right into today's topic.
All good, all good. Yeah. Now, it's not just, Mornis Project. Yes. It's more.
There's more to the Mornis than.
Yes. Right. It's Mornis culture.
Yeah.
And, now it may be small, it may be a local culture, but it is something. So the Mornis Project started off from a personal learning and growth point of view. But the way that I do it and the way that the project is involved, there's a lot involved in it. And at the core of it is Way of Impeccability, very long, extensive program, at minimum of 4 months. But another name for this Way of Impeccability is the language of conceptuality. And when we learn to think differently, when we learn to conceive, which is different to thinking, changes everything. We learn to think in the abstract. Now, when we start to do this, and part of a Way of Impeccability is it's all built on appropriateness, the philosophy of appropriateness, we start to extend this to everything. So Mornis doesn't just become personal, it becomes applied to everything. And when I'm engaged in Mornis, which is, yes, I wish to be more patient. I wish to be more impeccable, which is best use of energy. I wish to have my integrity intact. I wish to be more ethical, more sensible, more thoughtful, more creative, more intuitive, more everything. I now start living in Mornis culture. Also, I start to think, but do I want to keep in the same old stuff where I'm always competing against everybody, always kind of fighting with everybody, even though we're not fighting on the surface, but I'm still battling people to be better than them and push them down and get their job, whatever, right? Competing. And no, I don't want to be doing that. It's nasty stuff, man. It's horrible. So here we come to Mornis culture. Mornis culture is when I take what I want and I start to say, I want to share it with others who think like I do. I want to have that normal, nasty, negative stuff where I'm battling everybody, fighting, trying to be the best and pushing everybody down. And no, it doesn't matter if I get something real out of it, as long as I'm better than and superior. That's all rubbish stuff. So now I want to share this with others. Now we start getting more in this culture. And this is a very, very different culture to the prevailing superiority paradigm culture. It's an alternative paradigm. There are many alternatives. This is just one that I particularly like and appeals to me, where collaboration, consideration, thoughtfulness, and diplomacy, kindness, generosity, all of these things are primarily important, but also this desire to know and learn. So honesty is crucial. It's key. It's number one. Look in the superiority paradigm. Where can you be honest? Just think in one simple thing, right? When we think of honesty, we tend to think, well, I don't want to tell you the truth here because my honesty might be a bit brutal. You don't have to be brutally honest. There are many ways to be honest. You can be kindly and gently honest. You can use capital D diplomacy with your honesty. But look at the problem that gets involved. How often do you hear people, or how often do you yourself even, just express your appreciation of others?
Yeah, a
rare.
lot, but maybe
It's
more.
rare.
I do. I'm a different breed.
I know
my
you are,
father and I are, but most people
yes,
don't.
exactly. But again, even I'm saying, all right, so you may be at the bus stop or you're at the DMV or something, right? And you're working, and the person behind the counter is not the typical bureaucrat, yeah. And they're like, you get a little conversation going, and how often do you say, wow, you like really more, I really appreciate your thoughtfulness. I appreciate you going the extra mile. I appreciate your creativity. Now you resolve this issue. That's what I mean. We don't express our appreciation in ordinary day-to-day things. It's a side product of this honesty, negativity towards honesty that comes from the superiority paradigm. Because of course, if you're involved in bullshit all the time, you don't want to be honest, right? There's a premium against it. But if you're not, then we still get into this mindset, but you can't share certain things. It's inappropriate nonsense. You can. So I'm just saying, it's part of Mornis culture. appreciation is front and center. Not just to appreciate others, but to appreciate life, to appreciate the world, to appreciate yourself. Yeah. Now we hear about this very often. So you must love yourself. For many honest and especially modest and humble people, loving themselves, that's kind of a big challenge. Yeah. It's kind of hard. It's a difficult concept to go about. I love my partner, I love my car, I love my dog, but loving myself, that's kind of hard. It seems a bit narcissistic, but we can start with. And it's why the underlying philosophy is also called the A plus philosophy, because a lot of A terms like that are very important, obviously appropriateness and awareness and attention, attunement, alignment. But now we come appreciate, but we can start with two other A terms. We can first acknowledge ourselves. Yes? To get to self-love. All right, just acknowledge, hey, I'm also a part of the universe. That means since I love everything in the universe, or at least I try to, or I think it's positive, yes, I'm a part of the world. That means I acknowledge that I have some value just for the fact that I exist. No matter what it is, I have value as potential, if nothing else. So I acknowledge, I start with this. Then I go a little bit further and I start to get comfortable with acknowledging, and I can start to accept myself. Yes.
Yeah.
Once I can accept myself a bit more, then I can sort of up it a little bit more, and I can start to appreciate, and not necessarily appreciate me, but appreciate the fact that, well, I'm not bad. Wow. Just that alone makes a difference. Yeah.
No.
All right. So think of this. You say, well, how do you make a real difference if you're simply not bad? Think about it. You've all gone to the doctor's office. I don't see them anymore, but it used to be a long time ago. You went to a doctor's office, they had those STD charts on the wall. Do you remember those, Jill?
Of course
Right?
I do.
And with a big, the 1 and then 2 and then 4 and then 8 and how it spreads like that, right?
Yeah.
But now take that whole chart there and pick a square somewhere in the middle. And you say, this little square is not going to pass it on. In other words, this little chart is not going to be negative. It's not going to participate in the spreading of this. And we'll say whatever virus, the same thing applies with negativity. In negative mood, negative attitude. Negativity is a terrible, terrible virus, people. It's a virus. It grows and multiplies and spreads. It's contagious. It's infectious. It's horrible. But if you don't participate in that, now what happens to the downline underneath you? Those little squares also get grayed out, right? They also get X'd out. They're not passing it on either. See? Now they may get infected again, but you make a difference by not being negative. You don't have to be good. You
No.
just simply don't have to
Mm-hmm.
be bad. Yeah. Now you said we're looking at this from the point of view of acceptance and self-love, right? And self-appreciation. I can appreciate the fact that I can make a difference, even if I don't know anything, if I feel stupid, I mean, but what I do know is I'm not being bad.
Ah.
They're very simple, yeah?
Everything
It's
is
very
simple.
profound.
We need to make people aware of this. We could do it. We could change for the better. We can get more, be
Yes.
more, do more, live more.
Exactly. And this is mourners culture. Mourners culture isn't premised on you being some superstar. So no, anybody can be more. Anybody can be more. Why? Because you just simply have to not be negative.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only requirement. You don't have to be positive. If you are, that's bonus. When we start to look at this in ourselves, now acknowledgement and acceptance and then appreciation is very easy. Yeah. And when we can learn to self-appreciate, now everything changes. Why? Because I'm starting to feel good about myself. I'm appreciating the fact that, well, I do matter. I do matter. I become that block, that stop, that point where the negativity comes and it stops with me. I don't pass it on. You make a difference. You make a difference. You matter, right? This is a huge difference. Big, big shift from our typical superiority paradigm that says you've got to be productive, you've got to have this, you've got to
Yeah.
be special, all this nonsense. No, not true, right? This is just narcissism that's run amok. It's gone crazy. And we are living in a madhouse of ruled by narcissists. And this has got to stop. I mean, it really is. Our culture is just completely mad. It's insane. It,
It
yeah,
sadly is.
yeah, yeah. I like this mindset. Like I use the story in the book. I call it, excuse my language, but it's actually important. I call it shit pile logic. Right. I'll call it rubbish pile just to make it a little softer. Right. But rubbish pile logic is, I'm king of the rubbish pile. I'm queen of the rubbish pile. Yay! I'm queen. I'm king. Yeah, but you're living in a rubbish pile. Yeah, but I'm queen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I'm king. They don't get it, right? They are so madly insistent on being king or queen or whatever, the top special, that they forget that they're living in the shit pile, in the rubbish pile. They're living in rubbish, in junk, in horror, and they don't get it. They don't understand that relative betterness doesn't
No.
mean you have something that's better in itself in an absolute sense. It's not actually good what you've accomplished. It's only good relatively. You're still living in a rubbish pile, for Christ's sake. I mean, think about it. It's terrible. And that's what I'm saying, madness. They've gone so crazy with this obsession of being better and winning and dominant and superior that they don't realize that they're living in rubbish. Yeah? If you're better than rubbish, it doesn't make you good. They forget this. They don't
Mm,
understand this, right?
no.
Being better does not mean being good. And you can be good by not having, you say, but I don't have any good qualities. I don't know anything. I'm stupid.
Oh,
I'm ignorant. That's fine. You're not bad. Not being bad means you're good. Simple as that. Yeah?
yes.
You don't have to have any special qualities, any special abilities. You can do one thing and one thing only. Just don't be bad. And that, for the most people that I know, the overwhelming majority of people that I know, that's what they do. They aren't bad. Correct?
No, it's true. But also getting to the root cause of why people think they are not good enough, not.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to change. And this is part of Mona's culture. Rethink what you are. What are our two primary tools? Think things through to the end. Core to way of impeccability. Core to Mona's culture. And the other one is perspective shift to multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you say, well, I'm not so good. Who told you this? This is the whole hierarchy superiority paradigm. They're all trying to tell you rubbish so that they can look better by comparison.
Yeah.
That's the whole logic there. Yeah. So is that really true? Does it actually make you this if you tell somebody they're bad and they think better? No, but that's the point. The narcissists are hollow inside, hollow. And they're trying to cover that hollowness by pretending that they are more than what they are. And they're massively insecure as a result of being hollow, of course, right? So they do all of this nonsense in a foolish, idiotic, crazy, mad, insane attempt to try and feel good about their hollowness. You can't do it, narcissists. You can't do it. And BMNs, I call them bullshit manipulated masters, because
Yeah.
it starts with bullshit. It starts with bullshit. Always starts, everything all starts with bullshit. And then they start in the manipulation and the abuse, and so BMNs, very negative, nice little way to call them, yeah, BMNs. So BMNs, they just so hollow and so insecure, and all this is to try and cover it up. You can't do it. Your system is not just a no-win system; it's a no possibility of win system. Because when you get what you want, okay, you king of the shit pile. Well done. Good. Congratulations. Good luck to you. It's fantastic. You've won, but what have you won? Yeah, it's terrible. It's madness. But Mourner's culture is saying, now let's work together, rather. Let's collaborate. Let's support each other. And I don't care about your skills or lack of skills. I care one thing only, that you're not bad. Yes. And that's it. That's so simple. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do any more than that. Whatever else, if you are a little bit kind here, you're a little bit generous here, you're friendly, kind, whatever, all of that, bonus. Bonus. I don't have an expectation for it. So when I get it, it becomes a great gift.
No, beautifully said. Hold on, Sil. How do we contact you? Tell us where we find you.
Nobelia.org/connect. I mean, you can see on nobelia.org. Of course, you can go and see it's all, a lot of information there. I make a lot of posts. I'm live on Facebook. But on /connect, you can see all where to actually connect, get hold of me, all the different places. You can email me, and you can come on my lives, or view the live. I have lots of ways. I'm very accessible. I'm very out there. I put a lot of stuff out there. I publish books, and I'm publishing more books. So it's all there. It's all there in the /connect. And I do enjoy connecting with people. But this thing with Mourner's culture too, it can be a bit overwhelming. Because whenever we encounter something new and different, our culture has taught us, for the most part, new and different is dangerous.
It's so
Now,
true.
where does this come from? People think about it. If you're massively insecure and you know everything about you is all hype, there's no substance, there's no realness to it, of course you're going to be deathly afraid of new and different, right? Because new and different, you don't have any real depth to you. So any new and different, you don't have any confidence that you're going to be able to deal with it because you're hollow. Don't be hollow, people. Learn, grow more. There's so much that we can, so much available to us to learn if we let go of this primacy of our ego and hierarchy and looking good. Hierarchy, the narcissists, the BMMs, they don't care about being good. They care
Nope.
about looking good. Hey, it's appalling. It's an appearance. It's hollow. And you know what's so funny? They want to be this, but they don't realize in their to be superior, they make themselves actually very weak because they all hung up about the approval and attention of others. Your ego is useless on its own. Yeah, it has to have this approval from outside. But now you become dependent on that approval. If you don't get it, well, then life is miserable. So you made yourself vulnerable. Where's your superiority now?
Wow.
It's madness. It's madness. Absolute madness. So no, we
Excuse
can
me, I
change it.
haven't got coughing. Continue.
No problem. No problem. No problem. You cough away happily. Uh, that's a big thing that you're drinking from there. It's like a gallon thing.
It
That's
was
good.
tea. There's none left. That's why I'm choking. I'm
Oh
like,
wow. Yeah, no
it's all
problem.
right. We
So
got this.
yeah, a mourner's culture, it is stepping out of what you are the usual. And yes, we tend to be a bit afraid of stepping out of our usual. The word is usually our comfort zone. But the implication in our typical cultures, oh, you got to step out of your comfort zone. That's where real learning begins, etc. You see it all over the internet. I mean, I have in the my Facebook group, which is the Sassy group, SASY, SASY. No, I'm saying wrong. SASI, not SASSY. Sorry, I was mixing myself up. Anyway, it stands for Self-Awareness, Self-Improvement, Self-Discovery Group. So SASI. Anyway, in that group, people posting all the time and they're
Yeah.
making posts about self-awareness and self-improvement, etc. Right? And you see this point about move out of your comfort zone. In mourners culture, it's not moving from comfort to discomfort, which is what people assume you need to do in order to learn. No, mourners culture says go from your comfort zone into a more comfortable zone.
How do we get more
How?
comfortable? Tell us.
Yeah. How do we do this? By learning, by growing, by testing, by practicing. Everything in mourners culture, everything in way of impeccability is geared on application. Without application, it's all meaningless. You have to put it into practice. Just do it. And the moment you start doing it, you realize, wow, this isn't nearly as difficult as I thought it would be. And then it becomes easier. And then it happens very often. But you need to have that practice to overcome the idea that it is difficult, the idea that it is awkward. Once you actually do, you realize, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then you go there. And then once you do this often enough, you get comfortable with doing new things. You get comfortable with exploring. You get comfortable with experimenting. You become an explorer, not necessarily maybe in the days gone by, but you're exploring new ideas, new thoughts, new concepts, new ways of feeling, new ways of being, new ways of understanding, new ways of living, right? And now you enjoy doing it. That's fun. Think about an adventurer, right? I mean, our classic adventurer, Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I love
Now,
Indiana
now,
too.
now, now, when Indy's on a grand adventure, can he make mistakes
Yeah.
in the normal way? No, not really. Because whatever mistakes he makes, right, whatever he does that's wrong, it turns out just to be another branch of the adventure, right? So when you understand that, we're so afraid of making mistakes, which is an ego hierarchy thing. Of course, if you're hollow and insecure, you make a mistake, your whole thing can collapse, right? But if we have some security and strength in us, say, so what? Okay, so I messed up there. Well, we're just gonna have a different adventure. The adventure just takes another twist. That's all. And when you start to have this adventure mindset, there's no stress, there's no hassle. It's just adventure. You deal with whatever comes. All right, so it can be stressful in like, yeah, all right, whatever's trying to eat you, or you got to run away, but it's still fun, right? If you enjoy adventure, yeah, okay, it may be dangerous and it's stressful in its own way, but it's still part of the grandness, which is overall fun. Right? All right, we don't have to put ourselves in physical danger, but we can have adventures every day when it comes to learning. We can have awareness adventures. Yeah, AA.
I want to have
Different.
more adventures. Yes, we should.
Yes, exactly. And when we start to live in attunement, the adventures never stop. All right. So I don't know where our time is, but I just have a feeling we're coming to the end of our time. Yes.
Yes, unfortunately we are. I know we got a late start today. Sorry
Okay.
for the error.
That's all right. Yes. Just technical errors, time zone errors. But next week, I was going to talk about habits, but I'll talk about attunement next week.
Perfect. All
Because in
right.
this awareness adventures, it's if you want to have awareness adventures, understand a bit more about attunement, and then everything changes. It's a
Oh,
big deal.
well, how do we contact you?
Nobelia.org/connect. Nobelia. My accent makes words sound a little bit weird because when I say my name, I say Sol. People I think I'm saying SOL, not SYL.
Got
Yeah,
it.
Sol
Thank
like in
you.
syllable.
I love it, Sil. Thank you so much for being here, for joining us, and looking forward to next week. And we'll have our full show, okay?
Yes. Next
Thank you.
Wednesday, right?
You got it. See
Bye-bye.
you then. Hopefully, we'll
Bye-bye.
get the right time. We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.